Have you ever wondered how much of you is being noticed without a single word being spoken? Every glance, every movement, every breath you take sends a message. Men see more than they let on. They observe in silence, picking up on details you don't even realize you're revealing. And while you may think it's only your looks or your outfit that capture attention, the truth is far deeper. The most powerful impressions are formed by things you never plan, the things you think no one is watching. That's where the real magic happens, or the real damage. In every interaction, you are communicating without speaking. The way you walk into a room, the light or heaviness in your step, the openness or tension in your posture, even the way your eyes connect or avoid, can say more about you than any sentence you could form. Men are wired to read these silent cues, often without even knowing they're doing it. And those unspoken signals create a lasting imprint. They reveal your confidence, your comfort in your own skin, your emotional stability, and even your self-worth. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you been around someone who didn't say much yet you felt drawn to them? That pull wasn't about appearance alone. It was about energy, the presence they carried without effort. Men feel that same thing when they're around you. They notice the warmth in your expression, or the coldness that slips in when you're guarded. They notice if you radiate joy or carry unspoken heaviness. And they store those impressions like mental photographs, shaping the way they see you from that moment forward. The smallest changes in your presence can transform the way you are perceived. Carry yourself with intention. Hold your head high, not because you're pretending to be confident, but because you know you have value. Walk into every space knowing that you have something no one else can duplicate. Your unique energy, your unique spirit. Men sense authenticity instantly, and it leaves a deeper mark than any forced charm or rehearsed line ever could. If you've ever wondered why some women command respect without demanding it, why some leave an echo in someone's mind long after they've left the room, it's because they understand this silent power. They don't just exist in a space. They own it, gently but firmly. Their presence says, I know who I am, and I'm not here to prove it. I'm here to live it. This is the first step in understanding the unseen world of what men notice. And if you stay with me, you'll discover that it's not about changing yourself into someone you're not. It's about revealing the strongest, most authentic version of you. Because that's what leaves a man truly captivated, even when he never says a word. Long before a man notices the details of your face or the words you speak, he feels the energy you carry. It's an invisible language that speaks louder than anything you could ever say. Your energy is the atmosphere you create around you, the emotional temperature you bring into every room. Some women radiate a calm, confident warmth that makes others feel safe and drawn in. Others unknowingly carry a storm, restlessness, insecurity, or tension that people can sense before a single word is exchanged. Men are highly sensitive to this because energy reveals truth in ways appearance cannot hide. When you walk into a space, your body language transmits this energy without your awareness. A relaxed posture, an open chest, and steady breathing send signals of composure and self-assurance. Shallow breaths, tense shoulders, and darting eyes whisper uncertainty and guardedness. These signals are received instantly, shaping a man's perception before you've even begun a conversation. The most magnetic women are not those who try to project an image, but those who have done the inner work to align how they feel inside with what they show outside. Men are drawn to energy that feels light yet grounded. It's the quiet power of someone who knows their worth and doesn't need to fight for space. It's the kind of presence that doesn't try to dominate, yet cannot be ignored. This energy invites without begging, influences without forcing, and inspires without demanding recognition. And here's the truth. Energy is not something you fake for long. If it's not real, it fades, and people can feel the inconsistency. That's why cultivating it begins within, not in the mirror. Your inner dialogue shapes the energy you carry. If your thoughts are filled with self-criticism, worry, and comparison, that heaviness will follow you like a shadow. But when your mind is anchored in gratitude, self-acceptance, and clarity about your values, you naturally radiate a strength that men can feel even from across the room. It's not loud or dramatic, it's steady, reassuring, and unforgettable. The beauty of energy is that it can be shifted at any moment. You can choose to release what doesn't serve you and create a presence that reflects your best self. It's about standing in your truth and letting that truth speak through every movement, every glance, every breath. Men don't just notice this. They remember it because it makes them feel something rare in today's world, genuine connection. The energy you carry is your silent introduction. It speaks before you do, stays long after you leave, and determines whether someone feels drawn to you or drifts away. Master it, and you won't have to chase attention. It will come to you naturally, pulled in by the quiet force of who you are at your core. There is something undeniably powerful about a genuine smile. It is more than a curve of the lips. It is an unspoken truth that slips past every defense and reaches straight into the human heart. Men notice it instantly, often without realizing why it stays with them. A real smile has a warmth that artificial charm can never replicate. It carries an energy of openness, of welcome, of quiet confidence that says you are at ease with yourself and the world around you. It tells a story of inner peace without uttering a single word. Men are remarkably good at sensing the difference between a smile that is genuine and one that is forced. A genuine smile engages the eyes, softens the face, and creates an almost magnetic pull. A forced smile, on the other hand, may fool the casual observer, but never truly reaches the heart. It fades as quickly as it appears because it is not rooted in truth. This is why authenticity is so magnetic, because it speaks directly to a deeper, more instinctive part of the human mind. When you smile from a place of genuine emotion, you are signaling trust, approachability, and self-assurance. It is a universal language that bypasses judgment and connects directly with emotion. Men don't just see it, they feel it. It shifts the way they respond to you, not because you have tried to impress them, but because you have allowed them to see the light that exists within you. That kind of expression cannot be faked for long. The secret is not in forcing yourself to smile more, but in creating a life and mindset that naturally bring out that expression. When you feel gratitude, when you feel proud of yourself, when you embrace the present moment without obsessing over imperfections, your smile becomes effortless. And when it is effortless, it becomes unforgettable. Men are drawn to this not because it is a signal of perfection, but because it is a signal of authenticity. Your smile can change the tone of an interaction, soften a tense moment, or make someone feel seen in a way they have not felt in a long time. It is a subtle yet powerful influence that often works without your awareness. And the most beautiful part? The more you cultivate inner contentment, the more naturally that smile appears, not just in front of others, but in your quiet moments alone. Men notice that light. They remember it long after they've forgotten the details of what you wore or what you said. A genuine smile has the power to leave an imprint in someone's mind, a reminder of how they felt in your presence. When it comes from within, it is not just an expression, it is a reflection of your truth, and that truth is impossible to ignore. How you respond when life tests you speaks volumes without you even realizing it. Men notice the moments when pressure builds, when challenges appear, and when emotions run high. They pay attention not just to what you say, but to how you carry yourself in those critical moments. Calmness under stress is a rare and deeply respected trait. It is not about suppressing emotion or pretending to be unaffected. It is about maintaining composure and clarity when circumstances try to pull you apart. This quiet strength signals something profound: emotional stability, resilience, and a deep sense of self-control. Stress has a way of revealing the truth about someone's character. In those moments, you cannot hide behind charm or appearance. Your tone of voice, your breathing, your body language, all of it shifts. Some crumble under the weight, allowing fear or frustration to take control. Others remain steady, measured, and deliberate in their actions, no matter how chaotic the situation becomes. That steadiness is not lost on a man. It tells him that you can face life's storms without letting them define you. When you meet challenges with grace, you project a form of power that does not need to be loud. It is the kind of power that inspires trust and earns lasting respect. It shows that you are grounded, that you do not let circumstances dictate your identity. This presence under pressure makes you stand out in a world where many react impulsively, driven by emotion rather than intention. Men feel safe around someone who can hold themselves together when things go wrong, because it reflects an inner foundation that cannot be easily shaken. Cultivating this ability requires self-awareness. It means knowing your triggers, managing your thoughts, and choosing your responses with purpose. It is not about being detached. It is about being in control of yourself, even when you cannot control the situation. This level of discipline sends a clear message. You are the kind of person who navigates difficulty with wisdom rather than chaos. Men do not just notice your victories, they notice your reactions when the outcome is uncertain. They notice whether you become defensive or reflective, whether you collapse into frustration or channel your energy into solutions. Those moments leave a lasting impression because they reveal what kind of partner, leader, and human being you truly are. Every time you hold your ground in the face of stress, you strengthen the invisible aura around you. You teach others without saying a word that you are unshaken by temporary storms. This calm resilience becomes part of your presence, part of what makes you unforgettable. Men will remember that steadiness far more than any moment of perfection. Because in the end, what stands out most is not how you act when things are easy, but how you carry yourself when the world tries to push you to your limits. Self-respect is one of the most magnetic qualities a woman can possess, and it never goes unnoticed. Men are always observing how you value yourself, even in the smallest interactions. They see how you set boundaries, how you respond to disrespect, and how you carry yourself in the presence of others. The way you treat yourself sets the tone for how others will treat you. If you allow yourself to be diminished, overlooked, or taken for granted, you silently give permission for it to continue. But when you honor your own worth, you communicate a message so powerful it requires no words. You teach people how to treat you. Self-respect is not arrogance, and it is not about creating distance to prove a point. It is about knowing your value so deeply that you refuse to compromise it for attention, approval, or temporary comfort. It shows in the way you walk away from situations that drain you instead of begging them to change. It shows in the way you decline what doesn't align with your standards, even when it's tempting. Men notice this because it signals strength, discipline, and a sense of self that cannot be easily swayed. Your boundaries are a reflection of that self-respect. They are not walls to keep people out. They are doors that only open to what serves your growth, peace, and happiness. When you enforce them consistently, you send a clear message that you will not tolerate treatment that falls below what you know you deserve. Men find this both attractive and inspiring because it is rare to see someone who values themselves enough to protect their own energy. Self-respect also shows in the way you speak to yourself. Men notice if you carry yourself with quiet confidence or constant self-criticism. They can feel whether you are grounded in self-acceptance or trapped in comparison. When you radiate assurance from within, you don't have to demand respect. It flows toward you naturally. This inner stability is not just appealing, it is deeply reassuring to those around you. Every time you choose yourself over situations that diminish you, you strengthen that aura. Every time you refuse to shrink to make someone else comfortable, you remind the world and yourself that your worth is not up for negotiation. This doesn't push the right people away, it draws them closer, because they know your value is not based on desperation or need, but on truth. Men may never verbalize it, but they are deeply aware of the difference between someone who seeks validation from others and someone who lives in alignment with their own worth. The first fades into the background, the second stands out without effort. When you live with self-respect, you don't have to convince anyone of your value. It is evident in every action, every choice, and every step you take. How you treat others reveals more about you than any words you speak about yourself. Men notice the way you interact with people who cannot offer you anything in return. They pay attention to how you address strangers, how you handle service workers, how you respond to those who are weaker or in need. Genuine kindness leaves an impression that beauty alone cannot match. It signals depth of character, empathy, and a grounded sense of humanity. When your compassion extends beyond the people you want to impress, it becomes a reflection of your true nature. Respect and kindness are not just actions. They are habits that become part of your presence. They show whether you value others for who they are rather than for what they can give you. Men observe these moments closely because they reveal how you might treat them when the initial excitement fades, when there is nothing to gain except mutual respect. A woman who treats everyone with dignity communicates stability, maturity, and emotional intelligence. She shows that her value system is not dependent on status or recognition, but on a consistent standard of care and respect. This awareness also extends to your ability to listen and engage without judgment. Men notice whether you give people your full attention or simply wait for your turn to speak. They sense whether your kindness is genuine or a performance meant to create a certain impression. True kindness does not seek validation. It flows naturally because it is part of who you are. That kind of presence is rare and magnetic because it creates an environment of trust and safety. Kindness is also expressed in how you manage conflict. It's easy to be pleasant when everything is going smoothly, but the way you handle disagreement or frustration shows your emotional depth. Men notice if you can stand firm in your truth while still showing respect to others. They see whether you can separate the person from the behavior, addressing the issue without destroying the connection. This ability is not only attractive, it's a sign of wisdom and self-control. Even the smallest acts carry weight. A smile to someone having a hard day, a word of encouragement to a stranger, patience when others fall short. These moments create an unspoken ripple effect. Men remember these glimpses of character long after they've forgotten superficial details. They may never mention it, but they will feel it every time they think of you. Treating others well is not about being liked by everyone. It's about holding yourself to a higher standard regardless of the circumstances. When respect and kindness are consistent parts of your nature, they become your silent signature. Men will notice it, trust it, and value it, because it is a rare kind of beauty that does not fade with time. It only deepens. Men are drawn to women whose eyes light up when they speak about something they love. Passion is magnetic because it signals life, energy, and purpose. It is the quiet fire that makes a person unforgettable. When you are genuinely curious about the world and deeply engaged in what excites you, you radiate a different kind of beauty, one that cannot be manufactured or imitated. This isn't about pretending to have interests to appear more attractive. It's about being so connected to your own sense of wonder that it naturally spills into everything you do. Curiosity keeps you alive inside. It makes your conversations richer, your presence more engaging, and your mind more stimulating. Men notice when a woman asks thoughtful questions, when she listens with genuine interest, and when she is eager to learn rather than just to be heard. That openness creates a spark that draws people in. It shows you are not fixed in place. You are growing, evolving, and constantly expanding the depth of who you are. Passion is equally powerful because it reflects commitment. When you dedicate time and energy to something meaningful, it demonstrates focus, resilience, and self-discipline. Men see that and recognize a strength that runs deeper than surface attraction. They sense that your fulfillment is not dependent on someone else, but comes from a well you have built within yourself. That independence is compelling because it removes the burden of having to be your only source of joy. This vitality changes the way people experience you. A woman with passion brings life into a room. She inspires without trying, simply by being immersed in what excites her. Whether it's a creative pursuit, personal growth, or a cause close to your heart, the energy of dedication is contagious. Men remember that energy because it's rare to find someone who lives fully engaged instead of going through life on autopilot. Your curiosity and passion also protect you from becoming stagnant in relationships. They keep you interesting not because you are performing for others, but because you are constantly discovering new layers of yourself. This depth creates mystery, not from withholding, but from continually revealing more as you grow. Men notice when a woman is self-sustaining, when she has a life rich with meaning beyond her romantic connections. Every moment you invest in what you love strengthens the core of who you are. That core becomes the anchor that keeps you grounded and the light that keeps you glowing. Men don't just admire it. They feel pulled toward it because passion and curiosity are signs of a heart that is fully alive. And in a world where so many have let their light dim, a woman who keeps her inner fire burning becomes unforgettable. Strength is not built in the moments when everything is going your way. It is forged in the silence after betrayal, in the stillness after disappointment, in the deep breath you take instead of breaking apart. Every time you choose to rise instead of crumble, you are telling the world that your worth is not negotiable. The more you master this, the more unshakable you become. People will notice that they can no longer sway your emotions with their chaos, and that realization will make them tread carefully around you. You will find yourself no longer needing to react to every provocation because your energy is too valuable to be wasted on the unworthy. When you anchor your peace within yourself, the storms outside lose their power. There will be those who mistake your calm for weakness, not realizing it is the ultimate form of control. Silence in the face of noise is not surrender, it is dominance. It is the refusal to be dragged into a battle where you lose more than you gain. It is knowing that your time, focus, and emotional stability are worth more than proving a point to someone committed to misunderstanding you. The less you allow external forces to dictate your state of mind, the more powerful you become. True mastery is not about controlling the world. It is about controlling yourself no matter what the world throws at you. You must understand that walking away is not a loss. It is a statement. It is declaring that you no longer accept situations, people, or environments that drain you. When you choose distance over drama, you preserve your power. You do not have to be available for every argument, every manipulation, or every attempt to pull you into emotional chaos. The more you protect your inner space, the more you invite peace, abundance, and clarity into your life. This is not about being cold. It is about being intentional with where your energy flows. The moment you realize you are not obligated to explain, defend, or justify yourself to anyone is the moment you step into true freedom. That freedom is magnetic. It draws in those who respect you and repels those who seek to use you. Every time you choose restraint over reaction, you strengthen the foundation of your self-respect. You begin to move through life with quiet confidence, untouched by the noise of others' insecurities. You no longer feel the need to prove your worth because you know it is unshakable. And that knowledge transforms you into someone who cannot be manipulated, controlled, or broken. Your presence becomes heavier, your boundaries stronger, and your value undeniable. This is how you rise, not by shouting louder, but by standing taller in complete silence. The more you value your own energy, the more life begins to protect it for you. When you stop pouring yourself into situations and people who do not reciprocate, you start creating space for the ones who will. That space is not empty, it's sacred. It becomes a magnet for experiences, relationships, and opportunities that align with your worth. Many people fear letting go because they think absence means loss, but in truth, absence is often the beginning of abundance. Every time you walk away from something that drains you, you take back a piece of yourself that you can invest into something greater. This is not selfishness. It is survival, and more than that, it is self-respect in action. Strength is not proven by how much you endure from others. It's shown by how little you tolerate that undermines your spirit. The moment you stop accepting disrespect, life will start sending you respect in return. It's a shift that happens internally first. You train your mind to recognize when something is beneath the standard you set for yourself. And once you've seen it clearly, you can never unsee it. This clarity forces you to make decisions that honor your dignity. That's when you stop shrinking to fit places that were never meant to hold your light. There will be times when your silence will speak louder than confrontation ever could. There will be moments when walking away will scream louder than any words of defense. You begin to realize that your energy is a currency, and not everyone deserves to spend it. When you finally understand this, you will stop rushing to prove yourself, to fix what was never yours to fix, or to convince someone of your value. Those who cannot see your worth are not meant to carry your presence. Your peace is not negotiable. Protect it like you would your most precious possession, because it is. Without peace, no success feels fulfilling, no relationship feels safe, no dream feels achievable. But with it, even the smallest steps forward feel powerful. Peace allows you to move with intention instead of reaction, to choose from a place of clarity rather than desperation. It is the foundation upon which everything meaningful is built. And remember, your worth was never created by someone else's acknowledgement, so it cannot be destroyed by their absence. The same strength that carried you through your lowest moments will carry you into your highest ones. You owe it to yourself to stop pouring your love, energy, and time into places where they are taken for granted. Stand tall in the truth of who you are, not in the shadow of who others think you should be. The day you truly decide that you are enough is the day you become untouchable. From that moment forward, nothing and no one can take from you what you have already claimed within yourself. Strength is not built in moments of ease. It is forged in the silence of your private battles. Every challenge that seems determined to break you is, in truth, shaping you into someone who can no longer be moved by the same storms that once shook you. The discomfort you feel is not a sign of weakness but evidence of growth, because transformation never happens in comfort. You are being stretched beyond the limits you thought you had, and that is where your power begins to rise. Your discipline will speak for you when words are not enough, and your resilience will stand in the places where excuses used to live. The world may never applaud your quiet victories, but the strength you gain in those moments will make the noise for you later. Your life will not change by waiting for the right time or perfect conditions. It will change the moment you decide that no circumstance is stronger than your will to overcome it. Every time you choose persistence over surrender, you rewrite the outcome in your favor. Pain is temporary, but the strength it leaves behind is permanent, and that strength will carry you through battles you haven't yet faced. The temptation to quit will whisper to you when progress feels slow, but you must understand that what you are building is bigger than the moment you are in. You are not simply enduring, you are constructing a version of yourself that cannot be shaken by disappointment or defeated by rejection. When you begin to value progress over perfection, you will stop fearing mistakes and start using them as stepping stones toward mastery. Every day you rise with intention, you take power back from everything that once controlled you. You may not see the change immediately, but growth is happening quietly, beneath the surface, preparing to reveal itself in ways you cannot yet imagine. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes it is the quiet refusal to give in, the steady breath that says, "Not yet," when life demands you to surrender. You were not meant to live small, to shrink for the comfort of others, or to hide your power out of fear of being misunderstood. You were meant to rise, to expand, to occupy the space that was always meant for you. Every challenge you face is proof that you have been entrusted with the ability to overcome. The weight you carry is heavy because your purpose is heavy, and it will demand everything from you. But when you decide to give it everything, you will discover there is no limit to what you can withstand. The version of you that will emerge from this process will not just survive, it will dominate, it will inspire, and it will never again question its own worth. You are becoming unstoppable, and nothing will stand in the way of someone who refuses to be defeated. Your silence becomes a force when it is rooted in self-respect. Every time you choose not to engage in meaningless conflict, you take back control over your energy. You begin to realize that not every attack deserves your reaction, not every insult deserves your defense, and not every challenge is worth your time. This shift in perspective transforms you from someone who is easily provoked into someone who cannot be moved without permission. You stop living at the mercy of other people's behavior and start living according to your own standards. This is the moment when others begin to notice a change in you, even if they cannot explain it. They sense that you are no longer operating from a place of emotional vulnerability, but from a place of inner strength. When you stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you, you free yourself from a cycle of frustration. Those who truly value you don't need convincing, and those who do need convincing are not worth the effort. The more you detach from the need for approval, the more your confidence grows in silence. Your calm becomes louder than any argument. Your presence becomes heavier than any accusation. This is not weakness, it is the highest form of self-discipline. It requires strength to remain calm when provoked, to hold your ground without raising your voice, and to protect your peace without needing validation from anyone. People who thrive on controlling others will hate your silence because it removes their power over you. They want your reaction because it feeds their ego. When you refuse to give it, they are left facing their own emptiness. They may try harder to trigger you, but each attempt will fail when you refuse to step into the chaos they create. The more you protect your inner world, the more they realize they can no longer access it. Eventually, they will be forced to face the reality that they cannot manipulate someone who has mastered the art of restraint. Your silence speaks of self-awareness. It says you have nothing to prove, nothing to chase, and nothing to beg for. It says you know your worth and you will not waste it on situations beneath you. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes to walk away from arguments, detach from negativity, and let your actions speak in volumes your words never could. You begin to notice a new kind of peace settling in your life, the kind that no one can take from you because it is built within you. And in that stillness, you realize you no longer need to win in their eyes. You've already won in your own. That victory is permanent, and it is the kind that cannot be touched, only admired from a distance. The way you choose to carry yourself in moments of difficulty shapes how the world responds to you. Strength is not always loud, and power is not always about force. True power often exists in silence, in the ability to remain composed when chaos surrounds you, in the refusal to let others pull you into their storms. When you master the art of inner control, you no longer become a puppet to the emotions or actions of others. You stand in a place of unshakable calm, and this calm radiates a message: you cannot be broken. People sense when your peace is not easily disturbed, and it changes the way they treat you. Those who seek to provoke you will feel the futility of their efforts. Those who seek to understand you will respect the depth of your restraint. Self-control is not suppression, it is mastery. It is the understanding that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every voice deserves your answer. Your worth does not decrease because you refuse to engage in meaningless conflict. In fact, your silence often speaks louder than any words could. It shows that you value your energy too much to waste it on what will not serve your growth. When you operate from this place of power, you choose what deserves your focus. You no longer run after validation, because your sense of value comes from within, not from the approval of others. Every time you resist the urge to respond in anger, you are training your mind to rise above. You are telling yourself that your emotions belong to you, not to the person who tries to provoke them. You are taking back the keys to your inner world and locking the door to those who try to manipulate it. This control is not weakness, it is the highest form of discipline. It is the armor that shields your mind from unnecessary wounds and your heart from unnecessary burdens. When you cultivate this level of strength, you realize that your reactions are a choice, not an obligation. You see that not all noise deserves an audience, and not every storm deserves your presence. The more you guard your peace, the more selective you become about where your energy flows. You begin to notice that the less you react, the more clarity you have to move forward with purpose. The distractions lose their grip, the noise fades into the background, and what remains is you, focused, unshaken, and deeply aligned with your own path. And in that stillness, your power grows. You stop letting the world dictate the rhythm of your heart. You stop letting people's opinions chain your mind. You stop fighting battles that were never meant to be yours. You stand, not as someone untouched by life, but as someone who has learned to remain whole no matter what life sends your way.